and beyond, and those who want to go into beekeeping, they need to look at it. In the centuries, in ancient days, honey is actually one of the most expensive commodities, and it is only given to the royals and nobles. They have access to honey. And so, even some discoveries of images, drawings in the pyramids in Egypt, they depict some of the agribusiness they were doing at the time, beekeeping and all that. So we thought that it was something very, very important to them at the time. Till when man discovered sugar and honey lost its prominent level and it became a normal product. But as time goes on, we get to know the impact of sugar on human body. People are now moving back to the level of where honey uh, is not taking its position as medicinal, as food, and as one of the sweetness we need in our beverages or our breakfasts or any kind of time we need anything honey to do with or sugar to do with. We can use honey to replace. When you talk about Ghana, Ghana we don't breed bees. The bees already are in the wild, and so if one needs to more or less like engage in beekeeping, is getting bees is one of the most tedious aspects. It's not easy to get your hive colonized because even though you try all the best, the bees will come at their own will. But I know in other countries like the West, for instance, they breed bees and sells to farmers. But here, it's not like that. You cannot do that. So, and our bees are in the wild. So you could just imagine how long it will take for them to be teamed and that to be, sells to those who need them. One of the things we need to look up to is that our bees are African bees and they sting. They're not stingless. And dealing with them, you need a heart. And already in our society, bees have actually been one of the most less. Uh, the myth around bees is very bad. Like they kill even those idol worshippers claiming that bees are not neat and that they use figure ways to produce honey and a whole lot of things. So people have so many myths about bees that they they themselves don't have much to read into it to know more about it. And so I think this platform will be discussing some of these issues and helps uh, our fellow individuals that will find themselves around with bees or bees attack, what you need to do if you want to go to beekeeping, what you need to do and all that. And one of the most beneficial things when it comes to bees have to do with the fact that bees in Ghana are doing very well. They're very resilient, hardworking. We have two seasons in Ghana. We have the wet season and the dry season. And during the wet season, these bees rely so much on the pollens and nectars from all plants that can produce flowers and that have means producing nectars for them. So they pollinate almost all plants, herbs, um, shrubs, and trees. As long as it can bear flower, they are coming. And then when the wet season is over and we have the dry season, we have a lot of fruit at a time. Ranges from um, mangoes and of like any fruits, any tree plants that bear fruits at that time during the dry season. You see our bees using the 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 fruit substrate to go and produce honey. You see the bees like piling on those fruits then when they fall and then there is a, a damage on one side. They will you the way the bees will come and scoop everything from the seeds and remaining only the, the back of the plant or the fruits or the epicarp of the fruit. You'll be shocked about it. It tells you how hardworking our bees are. So it tells that our honey will also be a very good one. But the only challenge is how they are being treated and how they are dealt with. And since there's no governmental project about bees and no NGOs project about bees, we realize that even we beekeepers or who want to go beekeeping, we don't have much to do, or like we don't have the means, because if you want to go to any financial institutions and say, "Oh, we need money," and they ask for what, you want to go to beekeeping, they don't mind you. They won't mind you because that is one of the most not talk about it. Even agric itself in Ghana, hardly does banks or financial institutions give support to farmers. So imagine this. eh. So it is. Let's talk about government doesn't invest in beekeeping. So if you want to go into, you have to struggle your way through it. And beekeeping or certain beekeeping is very expensive. Buying the boards, constructing your own hive, or making people to do it for you, from the stand to the hives, the cover. It's almost getting to like $100 or 1,000 plus Ghana cedis just to construct a bee, one beehive. And you go and put it in the bush after beating them. Now it's another factor for you to work on it to get bees colonizing your hives. And these wild bees too, when they come to your hives and you find out that um, these predators of bees like geckos, lizards, ants, and stuff worrying them, they will leave the hive. So that's one of the other factors in that aspect when it comes to um, beekeeping in general, in that aspect here. But when the bees colonize the hives and be there for a while, that one they hardly leave your hive, or unless you're going to do harvesting and you don't do it well, and they will also leave the hive. So this is one of the challenges when it comes to beekeeping in Ghana. We don't have governmental investment into the project. We don't have any forms of NGO giving support. Maybe hardly some NGOs will give support to beekeepers. And some of the trainers as well too, the kind of training they provide for the beekeepers is another challenge. They will start well, and then another day the people meet challenges and they reach out to them and they cannot have any support for them, then they abandon the project. Um, Most of the people I have been training so far has been people who have undergone some certain level of training, and then when they started the project and they got challenges, try reaching out to their trainers and they'll be like, "Well, I also started, I had a challenge, so you too." And then they got so discouraged and then they end up leaving the project. And they've all left the project. So when they found me, or I put it that way, and we has visited their farm and we started putting things together, they started reaping a very good success and they started investing into the project, because beekeeping is tedious. If you don't have the right knowledge about them, the right way to deal with them, you will not be able to be successful with the project. So that's one of the challenges with bees. It's quite challenging. Honestly, it's quite challenging, especially in Ghana. Beekeeping is challenging. It's not easy, but if you follow the right informations and what you are told to do and you do it, the success comes your way and it's good, and you love the benefits of it. So, if you want to go into beekeeping and you're doing it and you have the challenges, or please, you can reach out to me and I'll be able to help you be successful with it. It is easy, it is possible. All you need to do is your time. Just that initially the investment is huge. The investment is huge, but if you're able to put effort into it and then you're able to do it in a very good areas like cash crops plantations, like cashew, um, palm plantations, cocoa farm areas, or even forestry areas where there are not too much canopies, you know, then you are good to go. The moment you start putting your things together and then the success has to come in, you will enjoy the benefits of it. And this is just the beginning of our program. And I just want to end here. But first of all, I would like to talk about anything about bees in Ghana. So anyone who have any topics want me to speak on, you just write it in the comment section and then I will speak on it concerning bees. So I want to say that beekeeping is a very lucrative project. If you have the money to invest in it and the time to, you know, take care of it, you will really love it. But the only thing is the investment in the materials at once, except maybe the veils and some smoker. If you don't handle them well in the store, you have to buy them. Apart from that, the hives, you don't buy them again. It can be there until when maybe you have decided to uh, dwell with it. Apart from that, or maybe bushfire coming there to destroy your hives. But apart from that, you are good to go when it comes to the issues of beekeeping in Ghana. And it's one of the excellent place to be because though the time I'm talking about, it doesn't take much of a time. Maybe a whole week or a month, you can spend about four, is it a month, you can spend like 4 to 6 hours in the whole month just to go and check how everything with your bees going. Is everything okay? Then you are good to go. In a week, depending on the number of hives you have, you can spend like 1 hour, 30 minutes, or 2 hours in a week just to go and check your hives. So it is less time. You can do any business. You can be a banker, you can be a teacher, you can be a doctor, you can be a nurse, you can be engineer, you can be anything, politician, anything, lawyer, and so do beekeeping because it doesn't need full of time. The only when you need to put time in it is when you're doing harvesting. Because harvesting time, you need to um, spend time doing the harvesting and extracting the honey from the comb. Though there are materials you can use to do that to speed the time in which you extract the honey. All these topics we'll be talking about and know more about beekeeping in Ghana and how best you can do it, how best you can control pests, how best you can be successful with it, how, where the best locations you can do all that. We'll talk about this and more. Thanks for your time and have a very pleasant moment with you for this our first live broadcast of beekeeping